when I was going through therapy and before I went through therapy, and I was a mom and trying to deal with raising children, and you can click on the comment there for the backstory so that I don't have to go into the whole backstory here. My children didn't know that I was working on healing or trauma or any of that sort of thing. They did know because I was no contact with my mother, which meant that they had no contact with that side of my family because the whole narcissistic family system just went like this. The cult went like this and Marnie was off the island. Even though I walked off the island, in their minds, they threw me off the island. Anyway, my children didn't know. And the reason that they didn't know about the therapy and the things that I was going through to work on myself is because, one, I didn't want them to worry about me. It wasn't their burden to carry, and they were all under the age of 9 years old. Two, I never wanted to apologize or validate something I had done wrong to them or mistakes that I made with this thing around that said, but mommy is working on healing and it's because she has trauma. I didn't want there to be this room or space in there for them to ever feel for a second that my making a mistake in something I did as a parent was because of my trauma. I wanted to make sure I was taking 100,000% of the responsibility for my action in that moment. When they became older, as in teenagers, and also I was finished the therapy, I had gone 2.5 years. And so I was pretty much on the other side of my therapy by the time my kids were, 11 or 12 years old. Real conversations began to happen because my kids would ask me more in-depth questions. I ran away from home when I was 13 years old, lived on the streets and raised myself up. That requires conversation, that requires explanation if you're going to live in the light in a family that tells the truth and has open communication, which was my goal always, because it was the opposite of what I was raised in. I wanted my children to have the security of being raised on a floor that was concrete instead of a floor that had, quicksand and landmines in it, right? So I hope that this addresses what you asked here fully. If you have another question, feel free to ask it. I think it's great that we're talking about parenting as a person who is also going through the healing process. This is really important stuff.